Hiya, Claudia Manchanda here to talk about my dinner, which is going to consist of oyster mushrooms. And I just thought I'd tell you a few geeky facts about oyster mushrooms because they're a kind of really interesting food to eat. So here we have Pleurotus austriatus, and the pleur refers to the way that they are formed laterally. They grow like this on the tree, and that's the, you can see the underneath, and they're a kind of sort of light grey brown colour, and they grow on deciduous trees in the northern hemisphere. In traditional medicines, they're considered a blood builder. In Chinese medicine, they're used to strengthen the veins and relax the tendons, and traditionally they're dried out into powders, then added to different mixes. And taste-wise, they're kind of very neutral, slightly sweet and very mild. And sometimes they smell a tiny bit like almonds. They're considered a high-grade food for a sort of vegetarian food source because they contain 8 essential amino acids. I can't remember which ones they are offhand, but they also contain thiamine, riboflavin, folic acid, really healthy sterols that balance cholesterol levels, vitamin D2, vitamin D4, small amounts of gamma ergosterol. They contain what's used as a drug as a statin, lovastatin, which lowers LDL, low density lipoproteins, and they actually contain a significant amount. So eating them regularly is, very beneficial for the health. Some people recommend eating mushrooms every day and with every meal. And if I was going to eat mushrooms every day with every meal, it would definitely be mushrooms that grow off wood. And my preferred way of having mushrooms is generally, straight off healthy logs. I'm not sure about the shop bought ones, what they're grown off, what the substrate is. But I'm sure that the wood grown ones are much healthier than the button mushrooms, which are Agaricus biphosphorus. And I think they're okay to eat, a couple of times a week, but sometimes the Agaricus, the button mushrooms, can contain a chemical called malathion, which is possibly a carcinogen. So the wood mushrooms are the ones that are promoted traditionally as health giving. So medicinal mushrooms have this class of chemicals called polysaccharides. And the ones that are considered medicinal non-starch polysaccharides like beta glucans, heteroglycans, and combinations of polysaccharide protein complexes. And what they do is when we eat them, they get broken down and they communicate with our immunity. I'm not sure if our immunity is getting alerted to the potential of the fungi being a pathogen or whether it's a healthy communication, but the response is increased activity of lymphocytes, decreased viral loads, and a more robust immunity. They've been studied quite extensively. So these particular mushrooms are immunomodulating, they're anti-proliferative, and they're also aromatase inhibitors. Aromatase is an enzyme that converts testosterone into estrogen. And sometimes we don't want excess estrogen. We often, especially sort of in late stage capitalism and living in this society, a lot of us have way too much estrogen, and we're estrogen dominant. We have lots of more estrogen receptors than we should have. And conditions like endometriosis, fibroids, PMS, hormone positive breast cancer, benign prostatic hyperplasia, and hormone dominant prostate cancer can all benefit from a diet with lots of wood-grown mushrooms, as well as loads of cruciferous veg like broccoli and cabbages. The alcohol extracts of this plant are really interesting too. How I would do it is I would dehydrate the mushrooms, and then I would powder them, and then I would add them to an ethanol extract. And the ethanol extracts inhibit COX-2 enzymes, which is cyclooxygenase, and COX-2 is implicated in most inflammatory conditions and inflammatory diseases. The ethanol extracts also inhibit lipid perioxidation, and there are chemicals in this plant that also bind with opioid receptors to actually be pain-killing. There's an isolate of this mushroom called pleurotolysin that is hemolytic, and that means it thins out the blood. But isolated pleurotolysin might be dangerous, but within the mushrooms it's very small amount, and it might be quite useful health-wise. Yeah, I think that's enough sort of tongue-tied words to talk about dinner tonight. But yeah, they're such sort of interesting beings, mushrooms, that I couldn't help just doing a little talk about oysters before I cook them up in butter and garlic.